What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Brutal Planet Comics. I'm your host, Trey the Brute Daniels. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Happy Thursday to all. I hope you're all having a great day. Oh, but today we're here to talk about the second episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Whew, that first episode was... Whew, boy, oh boy, oh boy. We're gonna jump into the second episode here. Spoilers, I guess. So let's just jump right into it. So things kick off, I gotta say, extremely rushed. So there's a news report about the incident that happens at the end of the first episode when She-Hulk emerges and punches, oh my god, Titania, and one-shots her. And I mean, this feels completely right. I mean, I wanted to know, why was Titania attacking? What was going on? They skip all that and just like, oh, we have a new superhero and what are we gonna call her? Blah 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 blah, and everybody calls her She-Hulk or whatever. It just feels very, very rushed. I like you've given me, and Titania is a superhero influencer or something. What? Whatever, she's already been ruined. I ruined Titania already, so whatever. So that's like, there's news reports going on, so, and it's all very rushed. It's all just trying to just information dump right in front of us, and I would prefer to see why we're here and why they're reporting on. So later on, we go to a bar to celebrate She-Hulk, which that wasn't really explained, why there's a bar celebrate, whatever. And so we gotta have ourselves a pronoun dump,
of course,
before they go into the bar. And like, why are they calling me She-Hulk? Why do I have to be a derivative version of the Hulk? You know, all that downplaying. You know what world we live in. So they sit down. Well, she hulks out, and we're gonna talk about the CGI later. We'll talk about that later. So they sit down, they have this conversation about, this new life that she is and whatever. I want to be known as She-Hulk or whatever the case may be. But then her boss randomly comes into this bar, sits down with her and says, hey, look, you did the right thing. He's at first, of course, he was intimidated because how tall she is, whatever. So made her turn back to her regular self, Jennifer Walters, and was like, hey, look, you did the right thing. However, you're fired. And this actually brought up something that's actually pretty important about how certain corporations treat the right thing to do. And it raised the question of morality. Do you let those people die and then maintain your status and your job, or get involved and risk the lives of others? I mean, risk saving the lives, but risking your own career. So that was an interesting question, which should have been, touched on in the previous episode, but I digress. But the whole case ended up being thrown out because she obviously interfered, and because the jury would now definitely be swayed because she just saved their lives. So that part made sense, because now you don't have a unbiased jury. So him coming in, he fires her, and that part was actually okay. So this intro had something. They were trying to do something, because now she's fired and now we have to, have her work her way back up to make her job. But overall, with all the other rushed things and Titania, no explanation, the weird, whatever, ideological nonsense, but with this little nugget, that was actually okay. But overall, this intro, it's got to get it down. It's got to. Like, it's just kind of tough to get through. So we have an interesting little montage of her being turned down by a bunch of jobs, and I actually really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that montage, because usually with shows like this, or where they're trying to do these type of characterizations, they like she's great, so everybody wants to hire her, blah, blah, blah. But it was the opposite. Everybody in law firms saw her as a liability because of the action that she took, and that there will be a bias towards her because she is a celebrity now and a superhero. And I agree. I'm like, hey, that's cool. And she's turned down from all these different jobs. her and her friend are, doing wine mom stuff and all that other whatever, looking for new jobs. She gets so low to the point she's thinking about doing mascot stuff. That would have been, it would have been cooler if she actually did it. If she actually did do the mascot job, because now you can actually see that she's actually at a legitimate lowest point. And so we as the audience can be like, oh man, she actually had to take that job doing mascot stuff, pretty much selling her image so she can pay rent. That would have been kind of cool to see, but that's asking for a little bit too much. So we have that scene of that, and I think that was interesting, to say the least. But then she gets the phone call to have her parent go to her parents' dinner, and I think this really encapsulate a lot of what families actually do and actually go through when it comes to somebody that they're trying to encourage, but at the same time they're nosy and pushy. So like her family is a typical family of like, oh, and they all have different successes and everybody's chaotic, and she's clearly feeling down. You got like her aunt and uncle like, hey, we need to fix your hair up, and like literally they're tearing her down incidentally, not intentionally, but they're tearing her down. So, and that's how families do, like, hey, we're trying to help, but you're really not. But then there's a really nice scene when her dad pulls her to the side and asks like, how are you really doing? And she goes into a tirade of words and whatever, which is, I guess, is a recurring theme. But he was there to actually help her, despite all the nosy family and all that other stuff. And it's very rare to see that type of paternal moments. I said that right.
Kind of retarded.
Paternal, yes, paternal moments for fathers in these type of shows, and especially ones with back of the woman agenda stuff. And so I really thought this was well put together. I thought this was well written, and I think this whole little arc here, I thought it was okay. So this whole scene with her losing her job and being tried to encourage by her family. Oh, and then of course she gets the job offer from Holden Holloway while she's at the bar sulking, drinking away her problems, which we all can relate to. Gets this job, and of course he was their rival in the first episode. Well, we wouldn't know that because that episode was so rushed that I thought Speedy Gonzalez was writing it.
You're so dumb.
But seeing that she's at her lowest point, I use that in quotation marks, and that he's actually seeing something happen with her trying to achieve something, and the parents, especially the scene with her dad, I thought that was really, really, really cool. This scene, it gets an up. I give that an up. That was cool. I thought that was solid. All right, moving on. So she gets the job. And here's another scene that had some hit and miss moments, but overall I thought was okay. So she goes to the new law firm, and Mr. Holloway makes it clear. He's like, look, you're not here because you're Jennifer Walters. You're here because you're She-Hulk. And this is something that a lot of people can relate to by usually it's by who you're from, like where you're from, who your parents are, whatever the case may be, or what kind of status you have, and you achieve something or are given something. Now, somebody can look at this and be like, oh, another thing about not who she is, she didn't earn it, whatever. But narratively, it makes sense, because who's Jennifer Walters? Nobody cares. People care about She-Hulk. And Mr. Holloway knows that this is going to be huge. So he's making a new division for superhero. Oh, God. Ooh, that's CGI. For superpower people. And they're going to put her as the head of the division because we got status, we got pizzazz, we got somebody that fits the bill. Now, there was a pretty weird scene while she's walking through the hallway and breaking the fourth wall a bunch of times, whatever. But everybody's looking at her like she's a weird and a freak. And that was very odd to me, because we live. The Marvel Universe is filled with freaks and monsters and aliens. This isn't a new phenomenon. So all the other lawyers or other paralegals that are looking at her like, oh, what's she doing there? It's very strange, and I didn't really like that very much. But I guess that's more minuscule than anything else. So, after and her paralegal's her best friend, of course, we gotta keep the crew together. So she's getting her first assignment, and the first assignment is to defend Emil Blonsky. Now, Emil Blonsky, for those that aren't familiar, is Abomination, who, of course, is an enemy of the Hulk. And there's a major conflict of interest. She doesn't want to do it because, this guy tried to kill her cousin, but Mr. Holloway doesn't care because he knows this is high profile. He knows it's going to bring in a lot of money. Corporate speak. And he's like, yo, you're going to do this or you don't have a job. And so, once again, it makes her seem powerless because she's got nowhere else to go. Yeah, she's actually backed into a corner. She's got no other jobs that she can have. She's got nothing. So, once again, we kind of put her in a position to be like, hey, you might be powerful, but at the same time, you're still weak within these certain confines. So, once again, this whole ordeal is something that I think a lot of people can relate to in regards to like how corporate businesses work, how corporate things work. Now, can this stuff be looked at as pretty boring?
Of course!
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of boring. It could be quoted as boring, but I thought that this actually worked pretty well within the confines of the show to actually get her moving, doing something. So overall, I'm going to give this scene an up. Now, here's the problem. Okay, the comedy in this show does not work at all. I haven't really touched on it, but I'm gonna use this segment to just talk about it right now. Pug, who's the other guy right here in the comics, he's called Pug. He comes in with a gift basket, and he gives it to her, and he said, "Oh, this is a place where you can go poop." Look, I love a poop joke as much as the next guy, but there has to be comedic timing. And not to mention, once again, the animation is so distracting, you can't even focus on what's actually being said. But the jokes in this joint doesn't work. There was like another joke that came in when she went to the prison about like she tried to do the whole Silence of the Lambs joke, which fell flat. Like all the jokes, even in the beginning when she's getting drunk as She-Hulk, so when she goes back to Jennifer Walters, she kind of falls out. I guess that was supposed to be funny, but it wasn't. It like the comedic timing of the show does not work so far. I don't really get the comedy. Like it doesn't work for me at all. And laughter is involuntary. You know what I'm saying? You can't stop yourself from not laughing. Like you're gonna go like ha ha or ha. I got none of that. So for the comedy side, it's got to get it down. It's the reality. Let's talk about the elephant in the room now. This CGI is trash. I don't care what anybody says. They can say whatever they want and like, oh, you got to understand. No, it's garbage from the top down. It's bad. The animation is bad. Stop lying to yourselves. It's okay. Shills, stands, whatever. It's okay to say that it's not good. It's okay. Because it's not. It's very distracting, especially when it's in motion, like when she's talking, when she's in motion, and when the lighting is not doing her no favors. The animation is bad. Now you tell me. This is CGI from 30 years ago. Why on God's green earth is this holding up better than this? I can't do it. Turn it off. Just turn it off. Is this real? Is this really real? Is this animation was greenlit by somebody? Are you kidding me? Okay. I'm back. Now look, I understand that these animators, I feel very bad for them because I'm pretty sure they're being given a task that is darn near impossible. They're just cranking out all these shows and movies every 20 minutes. I know they're exhausted and my heart bleeds for them. These folks needed more time with these animators. They needed more time. It is bad. It is hard to look at. It burns the retinas big time. So animation overall in this episode, down. Oh God, now that's out the way. So Jennifer goes to the prison where Emil Blonsky is, and this is a scene that once again I thought gave a little bit of credence to Abomination. So he's sitting there and he's explaining his situation of why he actually needs a defense attorney. He's explaining how he got a raw deal because it was the government that injected him with the super soldier serums and got him addicted to it, and then made him want to get more, and he craved the power because of those chemical properties. And then after he engaged in fighting the Hulk and then them destroying the cities and all, I think it was Harlem. He ended up destroying the city. They just abandoned him and said like, oh well, he's garbage, and he was a decorated war hero. So this scene, I kind of got behind. I'm like, hey, you know something? I think this is something that needs to be explored because he did get a raw deal. He did. General Ross came to him. The government came to him and said, hey, you want to be in the super soldier program? And he thought he was serving his country. He thought he was the good guy. So yeah, I think that seeing that there's a trial needed for that, and of course they had him send all the like apology letters and all that stuff, because I'm not really sure how the timeline is working here. I don't know if we're going from 2008 to 2025, 2023. I'm not quite sure what year this is supposed to be. I don't know how many years have passed between that or whatever, however they're working the timeline, but I think that was kind of neat. And Jennifer was like, hey, you're making some sense. I'll think about it. But before she does something that was uncharacteristic of her from the previous episode, showing actually, fellow feeling for Bruce Banner, Hulk. She calls him and was like, hey, look, like, I'm thinking about taking this case. Oh, no, she basically took it. Like, I'm taking this case with Abomination. Like, I'm basically, and she goes and spills a whole bunch of speech and not let him get a word in.
Bruh.
But overall, he was like, yeah, it was really cool. Hey, do what you got to do. It's all good. And we got him in the Sicarian ship flying off to, wherever to have an adventure. So I guess they're trying to set up for World War Hulk, maybe. We'll see. Hopefully something cool comes from that, from Mark Ruffalo's Hulk and whatever. So she accepts the job. She calls Mr. Holloway. And then he tells her to turn the TV on. And now the scene from Shang-Chi is there when Abomination was fighting Wong, and now it's all about like, oh, how'd he get out, blah 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 blah. So now the mystery's going to unfold and how he has to defend him. So overall, this scene with Blonsky and Hulk and stuff, I thought it was okay. The writing was, dare I say, decent. And so overall, this scene, let's go ahead and get an up. And that's how the episode ends. And there's an end credit scene with her helping her parents around the house and stuff. And that, I like that. That was neat. Because that's how parents will react if you know you got a superpowered kid. Oh, believe you me, I bet that will be the case. Yeah, so I mean, overall, this episode, it had some high points, but it also had some low points. Like I believe the intro was really, really rushed. I think it really should have took our time. And the runtime, I think, was like 25 minutes or something. Like, it was like an episode of Seinfeld. So I'm like, yo, I mean, like, characters like this need time to flush out. So that was an issue for me, especially rushing the intro. I like to see that the fact that they're actually trying to give her, like something, actually. I mean, but then it's reneging all the stuff that they've established in the first episode of all this. I'm great, and now they're just literally saying, oh, by the way, it's a tale of two writers, but it's the same writer on both episodes. It's very strange and very odd. The writing is very all over the place. But overall, there was some character depth. With Blonsky, very good. With Jennifer's dad, I really liked. So there were some things I liked about this episode, but then there's just things that were just rough. CGI, horrid. Pacing, bad. But, overall, I'm going to do the first thing I've ever done on the show. I'm giving this, this way. Where am I pointing? This way. I'm going to give it an okay. One alright. Yeah, alright. I mean, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's alright. It's not offensive to all five senses like the previous episode was. So, and, it was cool. It was cool. Does it make me want to watch more? Not really, but you know, it was serviceable at best. It was serviceable. So I'll give it that. I will give it that. But that's CGI. Whoo! Hopefully they touch it up in the next episodes. Maybe later on they actually cleaned it up. I don't know, but the CGI is bad. So tell me, what you guys think about the second episode of English? Good lord, what did you guys think about the second episode of She-Hulk? Did you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? Do you think it was just okay? Let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. And follow me on those dope social media platforms you see over there. You all have been awesome. I got how many more weeks of this? I don't even know. Whatever. You guys have been awesome, and I'll catch you all next time. Also, if you want to support my channel, check out spinwiz.com or download the SpinWiz app and check out my comic series, Trouble. It was written with a lot of love, and it was definitely my favorite comic series to write. I've also written it in English and in Spanish, so whatever floats your boat, I got it for you. Thanks again, and check it out.